our ancestors clearly seem to see the empowerment of women in relation to our period. But why is it that many of us aren't really feeling all the sacredness?
The monthly cycles in a woman's body are related to the moon.
So I experimented with my monthly cycle because it is a big part of our bodies. Hello! Today is the first snow. See? Okay, I don't think you can see it so well, but it's definitely snowing. And just like that, seasons start changing their mood in the most predictable ways. I mean, not just outside, in our body and minds too. Initially, this constant change seems to keep things interesting, some variety, until it begins. You know what I'm talking about? Yep, that time of the month. And we've probably gotten into some hot trouble right around those days. Gotten a little spicier than people or even yourself can handle. So it all started on one of those days, after one of those unreasonable arguments. I was so right. And I was just sitting quietly. That's when I suddenly noticed this was hauntingly familiar. Deja vu? I just felt like this last month. Exactly like this. And then it passed. The next month, again, the same exact weird feeling. And then I looked back. This same weird feeling has been there literally every month. Just a few days before Auntie Flo arrives. Hello. So I did a little reading about this. And I came across this chart which maps how a woman may feel during different days of her cycle. And sure enough, my weird feelings were mapped out exactly how the chart showed. So for a while, I felt like reassured. Okay, it's normal, everyone has it. But then I felt ashamed, enslaved to some stupid chart, which seemed to know more about me than I did. See, in yoga, we identify certain cycles or patterns that all of us unconsciously live by. The purpose of yoga practices is to break through these patterns and create what you want. Well, with such an in-your-face cycle as Auntie Flo, how are we supposed to break out of the cycle? It's literally a part of our bodies. Where do these cycles start from the first place?
Who you are right now is a product of certain cycles. Cycles of the sun, the cycles of the moon, and various other cycles in the universe. We are a product of that. Only because our mothers' bodies were in sync with the cycles of the moon, we are born here, isn't it? So we are a product of cycles. Our idea of time is cyclical. If the planet spins once, we say it's a day. If the moon goes around, we say it's a month. If the planet goes around the sun, we say it's a year. Our idea of time itself is cyclical. Either you can be trapped in the cycles of time, or you can ride the cycles of time. The monthly cycles in a woman's body are related to the moon.
Being in tune with the moon sounds so exotic. Definitely not how many of us experience our monthly cycles. So clearly, you're not biologically wired to be a big mess. I had a feeling we could do more about this than we thought, so I did a little experiment. See, in India, we've got elaborate ceremonies and festivals around Auntie Flo. I personally didn't understand when my dad was happily announcing my day to all of our relatives. I was actually quite embarrassed. But then later, I sort of understood it a little better. It's quite common in different cultures like the bat mitzvah or the quinceanera. I haven't said that word in years. And the Native Americans too have this beautiful coming of age ceremony. They're taught wisdom from the elder women in the family. The powerful Kamakya temple in Assam, India, has a legit annual fertility ceremony or festival for when the goddess is said to menstruate. Basically, it's a huge party for her period. So our ancestors clearly seem to see the empowerment of women in relation to our periods. But why is it that many of us aren't really feeling all the sacredness under the struggle, the cramps, and the... Do we have ice cream? Frozen yogurt? Yeah. So I experimented with my monthly cycle. I mean, it comes every month, so you have to do something with it. I found that sweet, watery fruits help to curb all those sugary cravings, reduce bloating and cramps. A little honey never hurt anyone either. No processed food or leftovers. Fresh, raw food as much as possible. Being in tune with the sun cycle also seemed to help with my menstrual cycles, largely because
it's a mask. I'm acting, and it's actually 5 p.m.
well, the main reason I made sure to wake up early was to squeeze in a little extra yoga and meditation. If you've seen my other videos, you'd probably get the hint that I'm really into it. And that's because it really does work. I even slip a few minutes of eyes closed time through the day, especially when I'm PMSing. Yoga today is quite varied and honestly has quite a lot of distortions. So I have found that basic yoga, as taught by Sadhguru, has the most impact with the least time commitment. It just needs a certain intensity, which I find is anyway there for us when we're PMSing. It's just finding intense expressions in different ways. We just have to learn how to channelize it in the right way.
Not everybody suffers those few days as much as somebody else. For some people, it throws their whole life off the track. Some people go through it without much disturbance, either in their psychological or physiological system. Any forceful activity could cause agitation in the body and in the mind, because at that time, naturally body is seeking a certain amount of rest, a certain amount of quiet, not agitated activity. But if you do asanas properly, the struggles that you're having with your monthly cycles should completely go away. At least the pain and the cramps and the works should just completely disappear if your sadhana is right.
Sadhana is any yogic or internal process that you do to take you beyond your body and mind. Our periods obviously happen in our body and sometimes reflect in our minds. It is a big part of our bodies. We may as well learn how to become good friends with our changing seasons. I hope my little experiment helps you or someone you know. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give the bell a ring to receive notifications whenever I post. Until next time.